Nation, we're so happy to have you here with us today for another special episode with the CEO of Success Training Institute, Dr. Wallace, as well as our Chief Marketing Officer, Tatum. And so we are going to dive in and get to meet them because we have a special episode here for you today. And so you might be asking, what is Success Training Institute and what does it do? What is PhilEducation? So Dr. Wallace, tell us a little bit about who is Success Training Institute? How did you get into this partnership with PhilCoin? And what is this new venture that you're doing with us called PhilEducation?
Oh, Enio, thank you so much, not only for having me, but for asking me that question. And I want to say to the entire PhilCoin community, it's a pleasure to be in partnership with you. Well, when you ask about who is Success Training Institute, Success Training Institute is the two-time EdTech Company of the Year. We're the four-time and reigning Soft Skills Training Company of the Year. And for those who ask the question, what in the world are soft skills? I can answer it very simply. Hard skills grades our proficiency or ability to work with things. Soft skills grades our ability to work with people. So when we start talking about these soft skills, these are the skills that Harvard University says are contributing to the success of entrepreneurs and working professionals all over the globe, that without them, we don't win. With them, we win effectively. In addition, our courses are constructed in such a manner that they're designed to build your emotional competencies. We all know that there is more than one part to us as human beings. We've got our emotional part as well as our intellectual component, and soft skills helps to build the social, emotional, and workplace competencies that all make us better people and better professionals. And that's one of the reasons why this partnership with PhilCoin is so symbiotic. It's wonderful to have a relationship with a cutting edge company that recognizes true education is the kind that builds us up from the inside out.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing. And Tatum, tell us a little bit about yourself for our family in the PhilCoin Nation that don't know who you are.
Thanks so much, and pleasure to be sharing the stage with Dr. Wallace today. So I'm Tatum. I am Chief Marketing Officer of PhilCoin. I am sure some people might be knowing my face, but if not, I have been with PhilCoin now for over a year, and it's been an amazing journey of enlightenment and also getting to know our community and also getting to meet amazing people across the world, such as Dr. Wallace and yourself, Enio. So it's a pleasure to be here today.
So, Dr. Wallace, I've heard the story of how you met our founder, Jerry Lopez, and he is a very special person to me. He has a great story, so I'm sure this is going to be amazing. Tell us a little bit about how you met Jerry.
Oh, that is one of my favorite stories to share. As you know, I've got great respect out for Jerry. He's not only a phenomenal friend and business partner of mine, but we met many years ago, and I'm going to tell you how it happened. We had just started in 2013 the platform for Success Training Institute. We were in studio all the time, filming these lessons and creating the content, having professors and experts come in and talk about some of the key soft skills components that we needed to have in order to be effective. And then someone said, wait a minute, have you considered filming lessons in Spanish? Well, we're in studio at this time. You got to remember, we're in studio for 10, 20, 30 hours every single week, and we're filming content. And someone in our office says, I know a guy who not only is passionate about training, but he's got the ability to get on camera and he can do all this stuff that we're doing in English. He can do it in Spanish. And so I wanted to get a chance to meet him. So then a friend of a friend connected Jerry and I together. And ironically, Jerry was with another company at that time in the direct sales space. And one of his biggest frustrations was that there wasn't enough training to elevate the new entrepreneurs. I mean, he was literally upset about the fact that in this organization where he was, he'd be like, man, there's not enough training geared toward helping people grow the way you're talking about right now, socially, emotionally, and entrepreneurially, giving them the kind of competencies they need to succeed. So Jerry and I hit it off in the beginning. He then said, man, I'm starting my own company. I'm going to create my own world, and I'm going to focus on the skills that matter most. He says, DL, no matter what I do, no matter where I go, you and I have got to stay connected because we're strategically aligned. We both believe the same things, that people are only the best that they can be when they're built up from the inside out. And soft skills was a way to make that happen. So down through the years, no matter what it was that Jerry was doing, He works soft skills into his network and his ecosystem because of his priority that he places on the people that he has in his organization. So as a result, that same philanthropic heart, that same joyous spirit, that same energetic attitude that said, I want people to be better, is not only what caused Jerry and I to hit it off right off the bat, but it's also what caused us to continue to stay together all these years. So more than a decade later, Jerry and I are still joined at the hip and recognizing the value of people getting better by having training that changes them from the inside out. And that's the training that we know as soft skills.
Yeah, awesome. So soft skills is about emotional intelligence, and it is vital for personal, career, and life growth. So it's also something I've been told that is not taught in every school or in every type of college that you might go to. So what is the importance of soft skills, Dr. Wallace? What is that importance, and what is the gap that your organization is filling right now in the industry?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. It's one of my favorite ones to answer. I want to first address what you mentioned about these skills not being taught in school. Oftentimes, when we think about something that's not taught in school, we typically think, well, it may not be needed if it's not taught. Well, think about the way school is structured. You go to class in high school and you got your science, you got your math, you got your history, you've got all these major focal points that the school is wanting to teach you. At the end of it in the United States, you have to take a test and pass it before you can even have the credentials necessary to graduate. So as a result of that, teachers are strained. They don't have the opportunity to teach courses that may have existed in the 17, 18, and early 1900s. And those courses are geared toward leadership, team building, time management, conflict resolution, overcoming stress and adversity. Nobody would argue that these are things that we all need to have. Everybody would say, yes, I need those courses. Well, Success Training Institute bridges one gap because what's not taught in college, what's not taught in high school, and what the whole workforce says is needed for today, those are the types of skills that we teach. And you mentioned it so well. And when you said these words, when you said emotional intelligence, all the course content in the Success Training Institute library is designed to help you grow emotionally. So when you think of traditional school, you think of intellectual growth. That is your brain development. But when you think of soft skills, that's your emotional growth. That is your mind development. Two completely different components, one on the outside, one on the inside, one tangible, one intangible. We work on those intangible skills everybody knows we have to succeed.
Yeah, and sometimes college, it can build you up, intellectually and break you down emotionally. And so this helps, someone who's already in college, or maybe you have a PhD, or you may be so smart and intelligent, but you've not actually focused on your emotional. You haven't focused on yourself. You don't know who you are. You're a bookworm, but you're not actually, you're not a worm of yourself. And so sometimes these classes are really good, and they bridge that gap to help people say, hey, I'm smart, but what about my emotions? What about how I interact with other people? Or if they don't go to college and maybe they're working, a trade school, I'm sure that these classes are going to help them be able to do the extra things that they need to know about themselves to go farther in that tech or trade career. And that's very exciting. I love that. I went to college, and I remember I could say it drained me emotionally. So I wish there was something like this that I could have taken and it would have helped me emotionally. And because I might have done good in school, but I was drained because I was trying so hard to do good. So these classes, I think, are going to be a breath of fresh air for our Phil Nation. And how about you, Tatum? How do you feel, especially in our PhilCoin, family in the app? How do you feel this is bridging the gap for us, for our followers, and for our members?
Absolutely. Great question. Thank you. So, when we talk education, as Dr. Wallace had pointed out, many people default to thinking about degrees, diplomas, tertiary education, high school education, and many don't necessarily realize the importance of soft skills training. Now, personally for me, I've worked in quite a few companies in different industries, and I'm blessed that I've worked in organizations that have placed the importance of soft skills training for career development and also for personal growth. So for me personally, without these soft skills training, I would not have been able to, for example, deal with difficult conversations, manage my time personally, but also manage the time of my team, and also understand the variety of personalities, cultures, and attitudes that you work with in the workplace. So obviously working in a multinational city like Dubai, where you are constantly working in a workforce with people from around the world, it's so important to have the soft skills to know how to deal with particular conversations with particular people. Now, when it comes down to PhilCoin and to our community, what we've looked at is not just bringing an education platform where people can access courses that they would at different universities, but creating a space that is truly unique and truly different. So we talk about empowerment, for example. Now, empowerment can mean a multitude of different things, right? But empowerment is really that holistic sense of financial empowerment, personal empowerment, and then there's the educational aspect as well. Now, being in the crypto space, people obviously believe that, we are just going to be about wealth empowerment and wealth generation. But for us, it was also important to take it back a few steps and say, you can have the income, you can generate the income, but if you don't have the soft skills that can help you take your life and your career and your wealth to the next level, it will be very, very hard for you to maintain that new wealth that you generate, or those new opportunities that come your way, if you have not worked on yourself as a person. So that's what we are bringing to the PhilCoin community, is this opportunity to grow beyond just your bank account or your crypto wallet, but also to grow as a person and to share that knowledge with others, whether it's your family or your loved ones.
Woo! That was good, and it's very true. You need to have, especially if you want to be an international, international business person or international leader. You're gonna, encounter many different types of environments, religions, cultures, people, and having to navigate all that is, you're only going to do that if you train your brain to really know how to handle these things. And it does not come from YouTube or TikTok or Facebook all the time. It comes from you just diving into very specific courses that have been created and cultivated for this day and age, right? Because I would say, Dr. Wallace, we are in a different time, right? We are in a very precious time where education is moving fast. People are not wanting to go to college so much anymore. They're wanting something on the go. Employers are hiring without even looking at some of these degrees if you're able to show that you have a portfolio of results in another way. And so this is, in technology and crypto and all the things that we're bringing to the table through PhilCoin and other cryptocurrencies and other platforms, the world is changing. And so it's very important that we not also forget about the philanthropic side of all this, right? So as we grow financially, we really want to bring it back to philanthropy. And so, Dr. Wallace, how did you get into philanthropy with Success Training Institute? What is that? What does philanthropy mean to you? It's humongous for us here at PhilCoin. What does it mean for you and your company, and how the future is looking for Success Training Institute?
Oh man, I love that question. It's an awesome one. Thank you for that. And I can answer that question of how we got engaged in philanthropy with just 3 words: pay it forward. Pay it forward. There are many companies that, like Success Training Institute, engage in what we consider to be cause-based marketing. You go to your grocery store and many times they'll ask you, would you like to donate some money to the March of Dimes? Or would you like to give to this charity? Or would you like to use your spare change and help these people in need? And many times we may do that. You walk outside the grocery store in the US and you see someone, they're ringing a bell and they've got their little can out. They want you to contribute or to donate. Well, cause-based marketing simply says, it is the awareness of when our customers purchase a product, we want to make that purchase impact someone more than that. There's just that one customer. So with us, when it comes to philanthropy, our model is simple. When our members, our paying customers, earn soft skill certifications, we then donate soft skills training scholarships to schools that serve disadvantaged youth in our area. And these are at-risk teens. These are kids that come from broken homes. These are families living below the poverty line who are having challenges, not economic challenges. That is the byproduct, but the root cause is emotional deficiencies. They lack the confidence. They lack the self-esteem. They have depression, anxiety, like you mentioned. They're suffering from stress. So we said, there's a huge subset of individuals that could never afford to take our courses. There's a lot of people who would never be able to take these Success Training Institute courses because they just don't have the resources to afford it. How do we pay it forward and help those people? Well, the easiest way to do it is to let our clients know that with the same dollars and the same effort and energy that it takes to empower yourself, you can also empower somebody else. And it has worked wonderfully well. This past year alone, in 2022, we were fortunate to be able to donate more than $10 million in soft skills training scholarships all throughout the United States, man. I mean, it was a joy when we walk in with those big oversized checks and we see the eyes light up of those principals when they know that some kids that may have been in some trouble, may have had some challenges, and some intelligent, smart kids that just needed to be elevated emotionally, now they can get it by us paying it forward. So for us, it's real simple. Philanthropy simply means we're going to do our best to leverage the customer resources we receive to help somebody that could never afford to take our classes.
Wow. And that's right. And we're not talking about only in the USA here, you know, with PhilCoin, we're talking worldwide, this partnership that's coming. And so many of you might be asking, we're not naive. What's in it for PhilCoin, right? What does PhilCoin get from this? What are we receiving? How are our, the people that are in our community going to benefit from this? And so Tatum, as our marketing director, what do you have to say? What is in it for us here at PhilCoin?
I love that question because that's a question I deal with every single day. What's in it for me? That's what our community will always ask. And as consumers, they have a right to ask that question because they have so many opportunities and options available to them that they need to know why is your platform better than somebody else's platform? Now, I want to take it back to the idea of opportunity. We've spoken about, education being the default idea of tertiary education. Now, that also comes with a lot of loops and a lot of, checklists that you have to tick off your box in order to get into these education platforms, right? You get into university or you try to get into university, you have to have certain subjects that you had studied. You also have to have certain qualifications, pre-qualifications before you get in. You also have a certain result, pass mark is not just enough to get you into an institution, for example. Sometimes you need to get an A grade to get into certain courses. So that then means that a lot of people in a large portion of the population does not have those options available to them because they have not had the opportunity of the first three steps, like, for example, primary school or high school or going to, a trade school, for example. They've not had that opportunity because, unfortunately, they have had the challenge of being born into a third world country or a family that's not had the resources to put them through the proper schooling and the proper education platform. So when we look at Success Training Institute and the courses that are offered and the courses that we will offer through PhilEducation, what's in it for me is finally the opportunity to be able to receive an education. And not just any education, but education that's going to help me grow personally and also open up doors for me in terms of career prospects. Now, these opportunities would not be available to them anywhere else and in any other means. And again, unfortunately, it will come back down to, where they live or the income that their families have, or perhaps their upbringing. And now we've neutralized that space for everybody. We've neutralized and created an open space where, regardless of your income, regardless of where you are born in the world, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of your current education status, you now have the opportunity to grow yourself through a certain skill set. So that's what's in it for you. But also on a sort of more tangible level is the opportunity to earn while you learn. So there will be aspects within the courses where you'll be able to earn PhilCoin as you go through the courses and also to receive a certificate at the end of it as well. And this certificate is amazing proof that you have dedicated the time and dedicated yourself to learning new skills. And this can be placed on your LinkedIn, on your resumes, on any professional platform, which then boosts your profile. It boosts your chances at getting any sort of career or even a promotion in your current job. So that would be my answer to what's in it for you, PhilCoin. 3 really important answers.
Man, that's awesome. I'd like to hop in on it if I can, because that was important. Tatum, what you mentioned resonates so well with me because in my office, where I am right now, in my home in Dallas, I have this plaque this little, and it's got three numbers on it. It's 942.
Right.
942. That's not an area code. I'm going to tell you what it means. The number 9 is 9 out of 10 employers prefer candidates with soft skills training on their resumes over those with technical skills and additional degrees. That's 9 out of 10 employers. Then the number 4, according to Harvard University research, people with well-developed soft skills are 4 times more likely to succeed in their professional careers than those who don't have them, 4 times. Then that last number is 2. And when you think about that, 2, that according to research studies, those with well-developed soft skills are 2 times more likely to complete college or university studies than those who do not have these skills. So all the time in my office, I always have these numbers, 942, because that's when you think of what's in it for me. Many people want to go to college. Many of those want to get better jobs, and many want to excel and advance in their careers. Well, you need soft skills in order to achieve the 942.
I love that. And if you don't mind, I might just be using that in our marketing, Dr. Wallace.
Yeah. 942. What you gonna
and
do?
And Ennio's going to write a song about it.
Right song. 942. So that's awesome. And you know, I think of my mom. She graduated college when she was 16 and went to she graduated high school at like 15 and a half, went into college at 16, and then started medical school at 20. And so from 16 to 20, you know, she was around a lot of college age kids, but she was young. She didn't know a lot. She was nerdy, she said. And something like this can help people who are maybe in high school and they're overachievers. And you're like, I'm going to get out of high school at 15 or 14 and I'm going to go to college. Well, you know, you're going to be encountering a lot of adults who did not do what you did, who might not appreciate you as a person. And remember, on the other end of this, there might be the person who's not an achiever at all. You're like, I'm not going to college. I'm about to drop out of high school. And I need to know something. You know, this is going to help the bottom person who's just struggling to the top person who's like wants to be on top, because at the end of the day, that's philanthropy as well. These two worlds combining together, knowing that they need each other to be able to for me to reach heaven, to make the world holy, to make the things great, in a world that we are all helping each other. This is amazing because it helps the poor, it can help the rich, it can help the educated, the uneducated. And when something has that synergy, it is amazing. And so part of that is that you're about to get into the blockchain now, Dr. Wallace. So tell me a little bit about why you liked the blockchain. Why did that seem like something that Success Training Institute needed to get into? And tell us a little about that process of thought for you.
Well, excellent question. And for us, our company, being an ed tech company, a 2-time ed tech company of the year, 4-time and reigning soft skills training company of the year, we only accomplish those things by staying on the cutting edge. And being on the cutting edge just means looking to what the future holds. I think about guys like Elon Musk, who is creating spaceships and putting people on the moon, as it were, sending them out of space. Well, that's living on the cutting edge. And the blockchain is the future. In 10 years, we'll only know blockchain. It'll be a second nature to us. Whereas I can still remember the time when text messaging wasn't popular. I happen to be of the age where I can remember when text messaging didn't even exist. And now today we see text messages and emails and social media and you name it, and things that were foreign to us just 20 years ago are now things that we have to live our lives based on today. So when we think about blockchain technology, we knew that one of the biggest missing links for many companies is utility. Yes, there's a great product, there may be a great blockchain project, but we wanted to be the company that pioneered utility. We were the pioneers of the SIPS instructional method, a method that proves that you can learn in 8 minutes or less. That's why all of our modules are broken down in those bite-sized micro-learning components. And we also want to be the pioneers of support to blockchain companies like PhilCoin that are engineering, pioneering, and trailblazing success. What PhilCoin is doing right now is again, it's on the cutting edge, which is why this is such a great fit. So for us, the reason we wanted to jump feet first is because we recognize that when you put education on the blockchain, you literally just changed the world. And you mentioned it just a moment ago. Think about it. Before and up until now, education has been in brick and mortar settings. It's been a school teacher in front of the class. It's been students that come in and sit down. It's a bell that rings to tell you to go here, a bell that rings to tell you to go there, and then everybody takes a final exam and everyone crosses their fingers and hopes they pass. That's been education from the 1700s all the way to now. Well, now online learning has become dominant, but it won't stop online. Now it's going to be blockchain technology, and it's going to be, can I get educated in an environment that gives me access to digital resources that I can then utilize to exchange goods and services? And we want to be the company, the pioneer of providing world-class utility with world-class education.
Yeah, because it's very true. You know, the future is going to be connected in very many different ways. And you know, there was a day without text messages, there was a day without cell phones, and now we are using them. And Tatum can tell you firsthand that there is Telegram and Discord and WhatsApp, and there's so many that, you know, you have text messages, and now we have encrypted text messages, and then I feel like we got the third encrypted. There's like all these different messaging apps, but it's because people's brains work special. You know, they work very special. You know, some people love Discord, some people love Telegram, some people don't want any of it. And so we just need to be able to find those ideal learners that are going to be able to adapt. And us, people like Phil App, people like in the PhilCoin family and Success Training Institute, it's our job to help people migrate into the new world, right? To evolve in essence. And so Tatum, tell us a little bit about our community. What people do you think in our community are going to be using this? Also worldwide, you know, who are we speaking to in the world that we want to come on and download that Phil app and get involved in this training? Tell us a little about who you think is going to be our audience that's going to captivate this.
Absolutely. So what I loved, one of the points that Dr. Wallace had mentioned was about the short bursts of knowledge that you get through PhilEducation. Now, I have been witness to working with many teams. I've worked with people of different ages. Everybody consumes information differently. Some people love watching a video. Some people love listening to a podcast. Some people are better, you know, reading a book or reading something and writing it down for themselves. We all consume knowledge differently. But in this world that we are living in, with all these distractions that we have, you know, you're no longer just doing one thing, you're doing three things at once. I mean, I am so aware that I will put something up on Netflix and 50 minutes later, I have no idea what's happened in the episode because I've been scrolling through my social media. Ooh. Maybe I've been playing with my cat at the same time. You know, you're always doing a bunch of different things at the same time. And it's very, very difficult in this world of technology and distractions that we find ourselves in to find that quiet moment where we can dedicate 4 hours a day for traditional learning. You know, that's what we would have to do in the traditional educational space. You dedicate 4 to 5, maybe 6 to 8 hours a day because there are classes, there's homework, there's the after hours learning that you need to put in as well. And it's really, really hard to stay focused. And that's why many kids these days are finding it really hard to complete studies because, let's face it, it requires immense sacrifice. So now the fact that we have these short bursts of educational content, people have no excuse. You know, 8 minutes on the train, 8 minutes when you're walking home, 8 minutes when you're on your exercise bike or you're on the treadmill, you know, 8 minutes before I put on my podcast or my Netflix episode. We can all find 8 minutes or 10 minutes in the day to use that time to better ourselves through knowledge, right? So when it comes down to who we're targeting everybody. And everybody who's wanting to uplift themselves and empower themselves through different skill sets. So that comes down to the students in school. I mean, you know, if you are suffering from anxiety, like we had touched on earlier, if you are struggling with staying focused, if you're struggling with managing your time as a young person, you can find a course to help you on PhilEducation. If you're an entrepreneur and you need to start building your team, maybe you were a one-man band, now you need to start learning how to work with other people, you can find courses on how it is to work with other people. Maybe you are a junior who really wants to step into that next level of being a manager. You need to learn how to manage teams. You know, there are courses for you. So there's really a little bit for everybody, regardless of where you are in your life and where you are at what stage in your education cycle as well. You can find something that can help you learn better or work better, be better, manage your time better, manage your money better. I mean, the options are endless.
Dr. Wallace, what certifications does the community receive after finishing one of the courses?
Oh, excellent question. Here's how it works. Like Tatum mentioned so eloquently, all of our lessons inside of every course are broken down into segments of 8 minutes or less. So the average course is going to contain about 25 to 30 8-minute or less lessons. After each completed lesson, then the participant is going to receive a quick quiz or test. So they know immediately that they're grasping the concepts. It's not a dump all the data on you at the very end. It's every time you see a single 8-minute lesson, you get to pass a quiz. And so many past quizzes in a course equals a certification in that course. Those certifications are over a wide range of topics that we've discussed: adaptability, work ethic, maintaining positivity and focus, overcoming stress and adversity, even diversity, equity, and inclusion, courses that everyone needs in order to excel and advance. There are sales courses, prospecting, appointment setting, closing, negotiating, all the courses that we need in order to be better than ever before. They're there. And at the end of it, there's a certification. Now, I want to talk about the importance of certification. We've got one of the largest virtual internship programs in the country. All over the United States, there are college students that work within our ecosystem, and one of the rewards they get for working with us as an intern is they get access to these soft skills training courses. The biggest draw for them is to be able to show on their resume that they've got from Success Training Institute certifications in leadership, team building, time management, prospecting, appointment setting, the list goes on and on. When they're able to show that in addition to their degrees, then the employment numbers are through the roof. So wow. Yes, certifications are at the end of it, and everyone needs to be certified. And we say that if you start taking courses and you earn their first certification, you're going to be hooked because you're going to want to get some more.
We're going to go and get some more. That's some Texas talk right there. And it's very exciting because, a lot of times, a lot of people in different worlds, even younger generations, where I'm at in the tri-state area, some kids are brought up, they're brought up that you should learn, by force how to do time management, or like by force how to manage your life. You know what I mean? A lot of kids sometimes they're not allowed to speak until they're spoken to. They're not allowed to even eat until someone says you're allowed to eat. And so people grow up in these worlds where, and then you have technology you add into that. So they just think, their time management, or maybe the way they've lived, is very draconian. It's just not go to work anymore in the new environment. You want to leave your small town and get out to the big city. You're going to need to add on some things to your life that's going to show you how to handle a real life city. Like Tatum was saying, I'm the same for me. I'll put on a Netflix show, and an hour later, I've had 40 new tabs open on my laptop or on my phone. And it's just part of the game. If we want to be on top, we have to learn how to do all those things, but, also learning how to maintain that, to keep it sustainable, to keep it going for long term, because we're not here for the short term. And that is very important. And so I think too, part of what I like about this training system for our Phil Nation is out there. Maybe you're still figuring yourself out emotionally. Maybe your business side has grown because you've just been so hard on yourself, but your emotional side is still, you're working on it. And so this is a good time, focusing on yourself, taking time out to do classes like this is very important for your mental health, I believe, as well, for your personal relationships with yourself and others. And I think it's very important that we just push on that, this is going to be the new way of learning. And especially now that we're in the blockchain, it's going to be able to find ways that you're going to be able to earn as you learn. You're going to be able to give as you learn, and that's going to be very exciting. And so we're very excited to do things that change the world, right? With PhilCoin and with the Phil family and Phil Nation. So as we close, I just want to ask maybe Tatum, Dr. Wallace, what are some final words that we can share with our Phil Nation to get them excited about this? Because I'm very excited, and I know you are too. So let's share some final words with them and tell us what you think as we close out.
Well, I'll say ladies first. I always say ladies first.
Thank you. I'm privileged to be among gentlemen. Well, I would like to say, and this might be a little bit cheesy, but it's always good to end off with a little cheese. So I am South African, and of course, one of my biggest role models as a South African would be Nelson Mandela. He was and still is a role model to me and to many other South Africans around the world. And there's one quote in particular that I feel is really pertinent with this conversation, and that's his quote that says, "Education is the most powerful weapon with which we can change the world." Now, if you have been part of the PhilCoin community for a while, you'll know that we are always talking about changing the way giving happens. And changing the way giving happens is going to start with education. As I mentioned earlier, you can provide all the tools in the world. You can provide tools where you can generate a passive income, tools where you can play and earn, tools where you can refer and earn. But if you don't have those personal and emotional skills to be able to deal with life, deal with changes in life, and deal with maintaining the changes in your life, then all of that is for nothing. You cannot possibly look to change the world if we're not going to start on the level of education, and not just a level of diplomas and degrees, but also teaching people how to deal with each other, because the world is full of conflict. The world is full of challenges and difficulties. We need to learn how to deal with each other, deal better with each other. We need to know how to speak better with each other. We also need to know how to grow in ourselves and in our careers. So that's where I would like to leave the note. Thank you, Nelson Mandela. May he rest in peace. But, like I said, it is just such a pertinent quote, and I just feel that it resonates with our mantra, which is changing the way giving happens.
Awesome. Tatum, that was phenomenal. I would say, to piggyback off of what Tatum outlined, is everywhere across the globe, we're all looking for the best of both worlds. We've heard the saying that we can't have our cake and eat it too, and nobody understands that, because we all want to have it and eat it. We want the best of both worlds. So one of the things that I would close with is this partnership between Success Training Institute and PhilCoin actually accomplishes the best of both worlds. In this regard, let me give you one world: learning and earning. Many people think when you're in college and you're going to school that you normally go to school and you're a broke college kid. You normally don't marry the learning and earning. With this PhilCoin ecosystem, the best of both worlds come together. Now you can earn while you learn, and then you can earn as a result of what you learn. So the best of both worlds happen.
Woo!
You got the best of both worlds. You got another best of both worlds: self-paced and video-based. Self-paced, video-based. We've talked about it at great length today. Nobody wants to be forced to learn. We all want to do it on our own pace and time. We want to be able to turn the shows on when we want to see them. And if we don't get to catch them all, guess what? We want to rewind it and go back and watch it when we get ready. When it's self-paced and then video-based, the learning acumen has been proven to increase exponentially. And last but certainly not least, I'll give you the best of another both worlds: growing and giving. That's the best of both worlds. Everybody always says if they had $1 million or $1 billion, they would then give this and they give that and they give to this and they give to that. Well, guess what? You don't have to have $1 million anymore or $1 billion anymore. You can grow yourself, and then as a result of your efforts, give to somebody else at the exact same time. So it hits the best of not just both worlds. This partnership hits the best of all worlds.
All worlds. That's what I was gonna say too. It's like an all world thing. That's right. And so we're so happy that you joined us, Phil Nation. Thank you, Dr. Wallace. Thank you, Tatum, for being here with us. We are all excited to be here together. I'm really excited to see what's about to happen. I think, if I were you, I would start looking up Success Training Institute in our Phil app. Make sure you download it. Tell all your friends to download it. And Tatum, do we have any news on when it's launching yet?
Oh, yeah, we do. I mean, by the time this podcast is live, PhilEducation will be live in our app too. So to the Phil community, make sure that you've got the latest version of Phil app, which you will download or update from your Apple or Google Play Store.
Yeah, update it.
Within the Phil app, you will find PhilEducation, which is the start of your new education journey.
Wow. You heard that, y'all? It's the start of your new education journey, and it's going to be able to help you grow and give. So don't forget it. Well, thank y'all for being with us today. We are so appreciative. Make sure to subscribe, follow, like all of our social medias. Make sure to always only follow our official accounts. Remember, there are a lot of scammers and fake accounts. Make sure you follow our real accounts. You will always know it's real because you'll just, for me, I say I call it the Tatum field. You know Tatum's around because it's a PhilCoin page because they have the same feel, they have the same things, they have the right wording. You don't see any crazy things that say send me Bitcoin or send me this. Watch
please watch
out.
out for that. Yeah, really
Yeah,
important.
we want you to make sure you're watching it. Well, thank y'all so much. Have a blessed day, and remember, stay tuned because we have another episode of PhilCast coming at you next week.